President Donald Trump has repeatedly asserted that his net worth is well over $10 billion. But in 2017, Forbes released their annual list of billionaires, and Donald Trump had dropped 220 spots in the ranking, coming in as the 544th richest person in the world. For years, the president's claims of wealth have been viewed with extreme skepticism, and in light of his most recent depreciated valuation, we wanted to know, just how much money does President Trump really have? Well, one of the reasons that Trump's wealth is so difficult to calculate is that he is extremely secretive about his finances. He is the first president in 4 decades to refuse to release his tax returns, which would clearly state his personal and business income, how much he pays in taxes, whether or not he controls foreign assets, and whether or not he pays taxes to foreign governments. Instead, President Trump has released several financial disclosure forms, which claim an income of roughly $500 million per year. However, financial analysts were quick to point out that this figure isn't actually income, but revenue from Trump's businesses. According to a breakdown in Fortune magazine, this figure does not include what Trump pays in salaries, interest, and any other business expenses that would significantly affect his valuation. Most conservative estimates peg his pre-tax income closer to $160 million. That's a figure used by the Wall Street Journal in mid-2016. Additionally, his own disclosures show that while the president claims to have roughly $10 billion, his actual liquid assets are closer to $250 million. But for many billionaires, that's not uncommon, as a majority of their money is used for investments, and in Trump's case, a lot of real estate. This is where his multi-billion-dollar valuation is difficult to nail down. According to Forbes, 40% of Donald Trump's fortune is tied up in Trump Tower and 8 buildings that are within 1 mile of it. All of these buildings are privately owned, and so their real-world appraisal is not based on a market valuation. Another problem is that much of the president's financial self-worth is based on the value of his own name. Both of these are impossible to accurately peg, even for Trump himself, although he claims that his brand alone is worth billions. So, how do groups like Forbes, Fortune, and Bloomberg put out estimates of Trump's net worth? In short, analysts use financial disclosures by the businesses themselves to figure out their actual revenue and income. These publications also compare similar businesses and real estate holdings to project what Trump's assets might actually be worth. Although these appraisals vary significantly, both Bloomberg and Forbes have estimated Trump's net worth to be between $3.5 and $4 billion, with most appraisals agreeing with this valuation. That's slightly more than 1/3 of his claimed net worth of over $10 billion. As the country's first billionaire president, who got his start with a self-described small loan of $1 million from his father, there is no question that Donald Trump is an incredibly wealthy figure. But as with other aspects of his image, the president is almost certainly exaggerating his worth. In the United States, President Trump has been met with polarizing opinions from both sides of the political spectrum. But what does the rest of the world think of our wealthiest president? Find out in this video to the right. Thanks for watching Now This World, and please make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this every week.